Well, here we are. We are now halfway there with school mode in this game, as we are now going to be working our way through the blue section. Our second to last section in this part of the school mode. For now, anyway. Memorizing the course. 2. Face the challenge of the tricky New York course. So our gold time is 3 minutes 14.5 and our silver time is 3 minutes 19. We can basically go as fast or as slow as we want. Either way, it doesn't really matter because there are no time limits. So, let's get through this. Time now for lesson number 13.
Welcome to lesson 13. This lesson takes place in central New York City. A long straight on the main street ends in a 90-degree corner. Take 2 slow laps around this course. As before, you'll be given plenty of time, so consider it a laid-back tour of the city. But don't be too complacent. Contact with the course boundaries means automatic disqualification. You'll be tempted to floor the accelerator on the long straight, but make sure you bring your speed down enough to take the upcoming 90-degree corner. Just as you learned in lesson 11, remember the surrounding buildings and other signs that signify where you need to start braking. Also, be sure to drive up on the curb on the corners. Once you can create a mental picture of the course in your head, you'll be close to your goal. By pushing the R3 button on the right analog stick, you can, if you wish, turn off the ideal line indicator. Once you get used to it, try racing with this indicator turned off. Best of luck.
Honestly, Vicky, I might actually consider doing that at some point, if I can remember to tell myself to do it. But anyway, here we go. And we are driving a Japanese touring car for this, as we are driving the GT500 Honda Takata Dome NSX from 2003. Okay, I think you've seen enough. So, do 2 laps of the New York street course without colliding with the trackside barriers. Remember the particular features of the course in order to memorize the braking points for each corner. I should also mention there is actually an endurance event in Gran Turismo 4 itself called the New York 200 miles, where you're basically doing a total of 76 laps just while ripping round the streets of Manhattan. I just figured I'd mention that. Anyway, here we go. Let's get on with our first lesson of the blue section. And we'll see how we go. As we begin the blue section of school mode. Okay, 2 seconds off. So, I don't think that's going to be too much for me to make up. I just need to make sure that my lap times are at least a second faster on both laps, and then I think we should be okay. Let's try this again. I really need to stop over-revving it on the launch. I feel like that's kind of where I'm losing some of my time at the moment, because I'm just over-revving it on the launch and I shouldn't be. There is a way you can take that curb, but I'm not prepared to find out what that is because I don't think it's really worth it for me to risk bouncing the car through the corner again like I did before. And third gear does not help through that corner. I've got that one noted now, in my head. I know that is clearly not a third gear corner, that right-hander. There we go. Now that is a bit more like it. It's a bit more like what I should be running with. Anyway, keeping myself in the fight and also going tight through those two corners, not over-accelerating, which is what I need to be doing. And I've got to be at least 2/10 ahead of my Ghost now, so I think we're in a good position at the moment. Oh, 4/10. Okay. So we look to be in position at the moment for scoring the gold, after putting together a solid first lap. And this time, I don't use the curb to see if I can gain any time, because I won't. And now, as we head down the backstretch up into this right-hander, I get on the brakes early and I've gone too deep. Well, I was going well until that happened. And now I have lost all the time I gained. Well, I'm not too surprised, considering this is a street course. I don't think this is good enough for a gold anymore. Unless I can get ahead of my Ghost. And surprisingly, I do get ahead of my Ghost. But I don't think it's going to be by enough anymore, because, well, it basically went downhill once I went too deep into the right-hander. That was more or less what costed me the time. But now I seem to be far enough ahead once again, so it looks like the mistake probably isn't going to matter. And it doesn't, as I got the gold by 7/10 of a second. And it only took me 15 minutes to get to the gold. That's actually pretty good, if I do say so myself, knowing that I actually wasn't expecting that to be the case. But either way, in spite of that one little mistake I made, it wasn't enough to put me off balance. I'll leave that for a little bit later. I won't do that too soon. Anyways, we now get the Honda Takata Dome NSX for beating the lesson. And it's right in the centre of Times Square as well, if I do say so myself. Anyway, first lesson down, and we still have 6 lessons to go, plus a coffee break. Special cornering techniques. Practice taking a hairpin corner on the New York course. So in order to pass, we need a time of 27 seconds or less. 26 seconds or less is what we need for a silver, and 25.7 seconds is what we need for a gold. So, let's get through lesson number 14.
Welcome to lesson 14. This lesson takes place on a section of the New York street course where two 90-degree corners are positioned consecutively, creating a double apex hairpin corner. In this lesson, you'll practice high-speed cornering on this hairpin. For double apex corners, it's best to treat the two corners as one. The racing line emphasizes corner exit speed. The trick is to ignore the first of the 90-degree corners and perfectly clip the second. This will result in the best speed possible for the upcoming straight. When you get a feel for it, try turning off the ideal line indicator. Good luck with this lesson.
I'm pretty sure I just saw the Times Square Jumbotron there for a moment. or more specifically the NBC Jumbotron. But either way, that's probably not too surprising, and the car we are driving is another Subaru Legacy. So, let's see how we go. Learn how to handle your car through a right-angled, double apex hairpin corner. Learn how to take the correct line to maximise your exit speed. I think I know what to do here. I'm also pretty sure you only really need to change gears twice in this lesson, if I'm not mistaken. I'm running a little bit wide there, but let's see how far off we are. Okay, I am just a tenth off the gold. So let's now try and see if we can find that missing tenth. Attempt number 2 with lesson 14. There we go, that's more like it. Still a little wide there on the exit, but not enough to touch the wall, and as a result, we get another gold in New York. As I set a time of 25.492. Resulting in me getting the gold by 2/10. Actually, yeah, I will get a replay of the Subaru now that I think about it. I'm trying to more or less establish a pattern here with knowing how the cars I'm basically driving are going from slowest to fastest. But anyway. So, it only takes me 6 minutes to get through 2 of these first 3 lessons. Sorry, it only takes me 6 minutes to get through lesson number 14. And as a result, I have got another Subaru Legacy in the centre of Times Square. And now we move on to lesson 15, taking 90-degree corners on a street course. Learn how to tackle these 90-degree bends at high speed. So 24.75 is what we need for a gold, 25.25 is what we need for a silver, and 26.75 is our requirement for a gold. Sorry, our requirement for a bronze. I can read numbers.
Welcome to lesson 15. Once again, this challenge is set on the New York street course. This time, you will learn how to take single 90-degree corners at high speeds. City courses are composed almost entirely of 90-degree corners, so this is your chance to learn how best to take them. The basic line is the standard out-in-out trajectory, which you've already learned about. However, in a city course, the boundaries are guardrails and other obstacles, so you'll have to take the bull by the horns to get full advantage of the breadth of the course. Things get even more tricky when you exit a turn with the accelerator floored because of the extra speed. In professional racing, it's crucial to use the entire course width to your advantage. Practice repeatedly until you can precisely follow the ideal line. Focus on taking a smooth line that goes right up against both the inside and the outside boundaries of the course. Now, best of luck with the lesson.
So, time now for lesson 15, as we are driving the Spoon Civic Type R. Not the Honda Civic, the Spoon Civic. for our first test of taking 90-degree corners. Learn how to drive through right-angled corners on the New York street course. Don't be afraid of the guardrails, and practice the out-in-out strategy using the full width of the track. So those are our target times. Don't need to explain those again. Let's get through this, and we'll see how we do. Things are not going very well at the moment. And I am still clipping the guardrails. And what's the time I set now? Huh, first time I actually set a completed time turns out to be a gold time. By 7 thousandths of a second. Incredible. Just absolutely incredible is what I think that is. Anyway, there we go. First time I actually complete a run on this test, I surprisingly get the gold. Not what I was expecting. But there we are. 3 lessons down in the blue section. And we now get the Spoon Civic Type R from 1999. I should also mention that is a Budweiser sponsor, I see there. Anyway. High-speed braking and cornering. How to handle Corner 1 of Fuji International Speedway. So, 48 seconds flat is what we need for a gold, 48.5 seconds is our silver requirement time, and our bronze time is dead on 50 seconds. Let's get through lesson number 4 of the blue section. Here we go.
Welcome to lesson 16. This lesson takes place on the Fuji International Speedway, with which you should now be very familiar. This time, you'll learn how to correctly enter corner 1 after the straight. You've already learned how to handle high-speed braking in lesson 11. Well, this time around, you'll practice braking at the right point needed to clear corner 1. In the lesson with the stopping area, all you needed to do was apply the brakes. However, this time, you have to take a corner after you brake, making the timing that much more difficult. Try approaching the task in this order. First, begin by determining how low your speed needs to be to take the corner. Then, once you've determined the entrance speed, you can find the point at which you need to begin braking to reach that speed at just the right point. If you look closely, you'll notice that corner 1 is in fact 2 small corners. Notice that this makes for a unique racing line. Good luck!
So let's get on with lesson 4 of the blue section, and where we are now driving a Nismo Fairlady. Just figured I'd run it up to the end of the run so you get an idea of what it is you need to do. Practice cornering after high speed, then braking heavily on corner 1 of the Fuji Speedway. Reduce your speed quickly so that your car can touch the rumble strips whilst cornering. The rumble strips, by the way, are the inside curbs of turn 1 if you're asking. Anyway, here we go. As we get through lesson 16 of school mode. And what's the time I'm going to set first try? 48.1. Okay, I'll take that. For a first attempt, that's actually not too bad. I probably went too fast for the corner there anyway. So let's try this again. Still not quite getting it on the launch, but at least I'm able to stay close to my ghost, which is one thing I can take as a sign. But either way, let's keep trying until we get to the gold, since I have a feeling that will be possible. And a much better entry through the corner that time. And down the hill we go. I get the gold by a quarter of a second. Which is good, because it means we have got it nailed. And now, I think what we'll be doing next is the coffee break, which is going to be a bit trickier than the first one. But here we are. We get the Nismo Fairlady Z Z-Tune Z33. As a result of us beating this lesson. So let's now get through our coffee break. Knock over all cones in a random pattern. So 52 seconds is the gold time and 1 minute is the silver time. There are no time limits, so let's try and see if we can get this done.
Now for the next coffee break. For this stage, 20 cones have been spread out across the gymkhana in the driving park. As before, the object is to touch all the cones as fast as possible. Firstly, just drive around any way you like. Once you've been around a few times, you'll get an idea of the position of the cones. Then you can work out the most efficient way of hitting them in the shortest possible time without having to double back on yourself. Enjoy your coffee break.
I'm just playing this demo because I figure it might help me to have an understanding of what it is this run expects me to do. It's not going to be a gold first try, but it will at least give me an idea of what it is I'm supposed to be doing to get to the gold, I hope. But anyway, there we go. So that's the demonstration run. Let's now try and see how long it takes for me to hit all 20 cones. Time to relax with another coffee break. Knock over all of the 20 cones arranged on the gymkhana as fast as possible. Handbrake turns might come in handy, so just give it a try. I will. And then once I've got that nailed, I will try and go for the gold. Because that is what I aim to do. Right there. And I am 10 seconds behind the gold time. Not too surprising in all honesty. I am prepared to keep fighting if that's what it takes. especially since this is partly the reason why I'm here in the first place. And this time, I will get it done. By 1.5 seconds, I have the gold. With a time of 52.4 seconds in Coffee Break 2. And I am now up to the 45-minute mark of this video as a result. So, it does take a bit of time to get used to that one, but then, once you manage to get everything worked out and you feel confident enough to know just what the established route is, you'll get there eventually. It will take a bit of time to get used to, but as you go further and further along, you'll become more accustomed to it, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, 2 lessons to go. Let's now move on to lesson 17. Mid-high speed driving on a dirt surface. Practice your drifting techniques at high speed. So 16 seconds is what we need for a gold, 16.75 seconds for a silver, and 18 seconds for a bronze. 2 lessons to go, let's get through the first of those 2.
Welcome to lesson 17. This lesson is the first outing on the dirt track for some time. You'll be practicing high-speed cornering on the fast section of the Grand Canyon. You've learned that by tapping the brake as you turn, the car will begin to drift. By using the drift method, it's possible to turn the angle of the car without steering. Mastering this technique can lead to faster cornering. Begin to turn at the entrance to the curve and apply the brake. This causes the car to slip sideways and start to drift. Next, gradually accelerate and determine the amount needed to maintain the drift. If the back wheels slip too far and the car swivels beyond the intended direction, steer the car in the direction that the back wheels are sliding. This technique is called countersteering. Practice this acceleration and countersteering until you're able to control the drift at will. Best of luck with the lesson.
Well, here we go. Our second to last lesson of the blue section, and we are doing it driving a Ford Focus rally car. Let's see how we go. Learn how to corner at high speed on Gran Canyon's S-bend section. Practice the art of countersteering whilst drifting. Here we go. This is gonna take a few tries. Oh shit, okay, yep. I kind of knew that was gonna happen. I kind of knew the car was gonna oversteer and then understeer as I was heading through the exit of that corner. Okay, really gotta be careful here. And... okay, I'm just 2/10 off the gold now. Even though I still hit the wall at the finish, but at least I passed that time. So, let's get through to the gold. Oh, can I actually get it this time? There we go! Got there eventually. It was just a matter of making sure that I got the right exit, and then I could just pretty much glide my way through the corner, and that's precisely what I did there. Anyways, there we go. 5 tests, and the second coffee break are now down in the blue section. And now we have just 1 test to go in the blue section, as we have now won ourselves the Ford Focus rally car. I'm also pretty sure this livery technically comes from one of the Colin McRae rally games, I think. Anyway, final lesson of the blue section. Strategies for difficult corners. Learn how to find the clipping points on blind bends. So, 16 seconds flat is our gold target, the silver target is 16.5, and our bronze target is 17.4. So, let's see how we do. I think I know where we're at, just as I thought.
Welcome to Lesson 18. This lesson takes place on the tricky town course in Italy. It's difficult to envisage the proper line on blind corners with low visibility, but with this lesson you can master the techniques needed to navigate such non-standard corners. When you're faced with corners that, in addition to having bad visibility, become sharper from mid-turn, it's hard to work out how to tackle them. When you enter a corner under such conditions, don't rush to take the line. Stay close to the middle of the course and get a good look at what lies ahead. The best thing to do is get back on the racing line and accelerate only after the track visibility improves. Attempting this halfway through the corner is bound to fail and won't improve your time. The trick is to wait and see how things pan out, and near the end, accelerate correctly and reposition yourself on the racing line. Take care.
And the car we are driving for this test is a Honda Beat, which, ironically, like the Daihatsu Kopen that I drove in the previous episode, is another key car. So, let's see how we go. Learn the various strategies of tackling the Italian street course's tricky hairpin corner. Learn how to drive through corners with deep clipping points. Let's get to it. And hopefully, if it's possible, this will not be too hard for me to work my way through. And not even close. But that's okay, because I was not expecting myself to get there anyway. So, I need to be less than a second faster if I'm going to get the gold. So, let's try this again. With our Honda Beat. And there we go. By 2 thousandths of a second, I just got the gold. That was unbelievable, but I somehow made it. By 2 thousandths of a second, I made it to the gold. Just. And that is now the end of the blue section. I'm also pretty sure I have a replay saved. Yeah, I do. Okay, that's good. Alrighty. Now, after 71 minutes of recording, here is the car we get for beating the lesson, the Honda Beat. And not only that, but we also get another prize car for beating the blue section. Oh, we're not quite there yet. Oh, wait. Hold on. How many more lessons do we have to go? Oh, we have one lesson to go. Okay, my mistake. I am trying my best. That was completely unanswered on my part. Anyway, here we go. Tackling a beginner's course. Learn the correct rhythm of steering on a beginner's course. Okay, so this is officially the final lesson of the blue section. Not the previous one, this. This one is the final lesson, as we have 7 lessons to do altogether for the blue section. Anyway, just figured I'd get that out of the way. Learn the correct rhythm of steering on a beginner's course. So a minute 2 is what we need for a gold, 1 minute 3 for a silver, and 1 minute 9 for a bronze. But this is going to be a bit harder because we are using a Lotus Elise for this test. So let's get on with it.
Welcome to lesson 19. For this lesson, you'll be driving on the beginner's course in the driving park that you encountered in the first lesson. Of course, this time you'll be practicing something new, negotiating chicanes. Chicanes are small, opposing corners positioned on the track to force you to slow down. Your job is to complete 2 laps on this course as fast as possible through the chicanes positioned in the middle of the straight. You've had plenty of practice through small and large corners, so this time you'll need to work on taking the chicanes. See how well you can trace the ideal racing line. You'll do okay if you minimise steering from the entrance through to the exit and manoeuvre with a good rhythm. If you accelerate roughly or steer too hard during the chicanes, the car will handle poorly and you won't be able to follow the line. Remember the advice of the first lesson and keep your steering to a minimum. Best of luck!
So as I said before, the car we are driving is a Lotus Elise, and we are doing 2 laps around the beginner course. And this is officially the final lesson of the blue section. I think this is the only section of the game that has 7 lessons in the first half. The other half, well, they're just one colour, but I won't reveal that because I don't want to become known for creating spoilers. Anyway, this 2-lap time attack will introduce you to the chicanes of the beginner's course. If you accelerate too harshly through these chicanes, you will not advance a good time, so try to learn the correct steering rhythm. Will do, Chief, will do, as I now know this is officially the last lesson of the blue section. This is a rear-wheel drive car after all. And with rear-wheel drive cars, you can be subjected to oversteer. Although to be fair, I have been doing this now for a few hours. And I have already made it pretty far in this game for it being only my first day. And in all honesty, I'm okay with that. Even though this probably will take me a few tries to get there officially. But anyway, we'll see how we do. To brake a little bit there as I went through the corner. Okay, and let's see, can I get the gold first try? Yes, I can. Well, first completed try, that is. And that only took me 76.5 minutes to get there of recording. So there we go. I am basically making most of these tests look pretty easy, if I do so myself. Should I get a replay of this, or should I just leave it? Actually, no. I will get a replay of the Lotus now that I think about it, and decide over which one of these two is better for me to get a thumbnail image of. The Lotus Elise Sport 190 is what we get for beating the test. And now this should, and I say should, signify the end of the blue section. I have been recording this for a few hours and I am pretty tired, so I do apologise for my previous error. Anyway, this is the car we get for finishing the blue section. We get the Mitsubishi I.
Nice work. You've completed the blue section. Now you're ready for the red section. Think you can handle it?
Honestly, Vicky, I have very real hope in saying that I can handle it, because I have been through this whole game before. Which is partly why I basically did at least one arcade race with every single car in this game. And now, let's have a look at our progress. So, after 3 segments of this game so far, we are already up to 21 gold trophies, and now we just have another 6 tests plus 1 coffee break to go here in part 1 of GT4 Prologue School Mode. And then once we are done with the red section, we get to move on to a bonus section, which I will only say is coming soon. It's also pretty cool to know that we do get skill point. It's also pretty cool to know that we do get an overall score as well. I don't know how those are tallied up, but it is nice to know that we do get an overall score. Anyway, so 3 of the 4 school mode sections are down, and next time we will be getting on with the red section. Coming in the next episode of GT4 Prologue.